GM friends. Coder Dan's doing his weekly dance.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello,
good
hello.
morning,
Jim.
GM.
Hey, everybody. How we all doing today?
Good day so far.
Nice. I'm finishing up the day here. But yeah, it's been a pretty good day as well. Can't complain.
Yeah, I'm getting ready for this XP event. I went through the tutorial. Gotchi Guardians is loaded up on my
Yeah.
computer. I'm ready.
Right. Goobs, we got the announcement prepped and everything, ready to go. Starting at about 30 minutes from now.
So the XP that we're earning, this is for our gotchis or this is in-game XP?
No, it's for the gotchis.
Nice.
So as long as you use your gotchi within the game and you're ranked on the leaderboard, you'll be earning XP for, I believe it's for that gotchi. We got the, I see the, looking at the draft here of the announcement. So yeah, I think it's going to be, this is our first time we've ever done a gotchi Guardians event. So pretty excited.
Yeah, this is great because people, there has been discussion about like, oh, my NFTs and them being included in the game, and now my no future NFT is here ready to play, and he'll earn some XP. So that's really cool. Oh, it's a good question from Hot Curly Fry. Where can we view the leaderboard? I know it's not active yet, but
It's a little bit annoying still. We're going to try to get it into the DApp. We have a task for that assigned. But right now, to see the leaderboard, you just go into the game and click the kind of leaderboard looking icon. And we did just do a wipe of the leaderboard to get everyone kind of in the mood, ready for the XP event. But the anyone who got G Bucks, I think the team was supposed to be refunding G Bucks that should have been earned but weren't. I think that went out this week, or at least I hope it did. I know I pinged them a couple times to see if it was in there. But if it didn't get out, then it's certainly saved somewhere. Schnitzel Death. Having a nice afternoon, sir. Nadio's got a new gotchi. Oh, what does that word mean? Arepa. Is that a word or is that just something random? Got a nice little logo gotchi. The OG nickname of Zbot. No shit. I did not know that. That's some new. That's a trivia point. Does that mean anything, or is it just an OG nickname? There's some new Zbot lore. Well, speaking of Gotchi Guardians, we also put out V 0.9.1 this week. There should be some patch notes on. If you go to the game center for Gotchi Guardians, should be the new release notes there. little hot fix, nothing really too serious, but there were some issues that the team noticed after the last big release, and so we put out this little hot fix. And they're kind of gearing up for much bigger, the next kind of bigger release. But has anyone played with the Mount Oomph at night? I mean, man, that skin is looking dope. Mount Oomph at night is looking real pretty. Look at that. Yeah, that's looking nice. Okay, arepa is a food in South America. Oh, never had that one. Brills, GM, sir. So yeah, you can view the patch notes here. I really highly suggest if you're into the game, definitely check out the patch notes every time they come out. They're listed on the Game Center, and we're also going to be updating the Game Center so it kind of shows each different patch, so you can kind of go through and view all of them if you want. There's so much game alpha in these patch notes. Slime and the team are really outdoing themselves, like really getting the notes full of detail and showing exactly what's changed. Very pro. So definitely check out the notes every time they come out. Every time there's a release, there's going to be these new patch notes that come out. So this one, bull market adjustments. We're increasing the bull attack range slightly. They spawn instantly when not in survival mode. The liquidators are no longer tauntable by new sources after being alive for 40 seconds. And enhanced interactions with steady lads, preventing long delays caused by AI hesitation. This is like just the level of detail that Slama is at with this game. Noticing all these like tiny, minute little issues and be like, yes, we need to fix that. I love it. So detailed. Such attention to detail. So as always, there's also a bug report channel in the Gotchi Guardians Discord, and I think Goobs, you just added the support ticket feature. It's in the Gotchi Guardians Discord, so we're going to be using that going forward. I don't think there's been an announcement yet, but we'll be using that support ticket feature just like we have in the Aavegotchi Discord to make sure that we're keeping track of all the bugs and addressing everything. Because yeah, we're getting close, guys. Like we're this release, things are starting to get serious. We're really crafting the go-to-market campaign for the game. Really researching the best, like latest best practices on launching a game on Steam, especially an NFT game, which it's kind of not something that they really like over there, but I think it'll work. And just preparing to bring this game to market over the summer, so getting pretty excited. Let's see. Other than that, been another productive week in the kind of the back end part of Pixelcraft. I was doing some testing with the actual DApp this week with all the different assets on base Sepolia. We finally got pretty much all of the assets on base Sepolia now. There were just some minor weird things that we found during the testing. So it's funny, like the deployment turns out that the deployment for realm parcels is like the biggest one of everything. There's so much metadata with all the grids and stuff. Like it's taken up. It takes our dev Timidon 2 days to deploy all 30,000 of the parcels. He's got his script going, and it takes so long. So we should have a new deployment done by Sunday. That's what he was saying, maybe Monday. And then I think hopefully that's the final one before we can start releasing this for public testing. But we're already testing it internally. Things are things are definitely getting close. Brills, do you guys have any information to share about anything going on with Gotchi Battler? I know there's more for the DAO call, I guess, but there's been the Future of Gotchi Battler posts that you guys have been making.
Yeah, some of the ideas with the Gotchi Battler campaigns and dungeons look pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's I think it's I saw the thing about the spirits. I think that's like so needed in Aavegotchi or any NFT game really. You've got to have. And with Gotchi Guardians, we decided to go with the Guardians route. I think Dropped was doing something like that. Like every game's got to have kind of a free to play entry point. So I think that's a smart move on their side. Oh, we got Immaterial coming up. Nice. Let's see. I did allowed him to come up. There he is.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Hey, sir. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I haven't really got like, presentation or anything prepared for it. But yeah, we've done 2 posts now, 2 of 3 on the future of Gotchi Battler. So the first one was just kind of like an intro, kind of talking about what, the direction we're trying to take it. And the main headline of that is that we're trying to transition Gotchi Battler into a kind of revenue generating game. So far we've been very reliant on funding for development and for the prize pools. And what we ultimately want to get to is somewhere where we're generating enough revenue to fund for, future development and also the prize pool, because that's how we're going to extend the runway of the rewards past when, the rarity farming runs out. So that's the kind of like goal. Obviously, that's like I think that's what a lot of play to earn NFT games are going for, and it's probably one of the hardest problems in the space right now. But we've done a lot of work on the economics, and yeah, that's what we're going for.
I think one of the most interesting dashboards I've seen in this space is from the Pixels Online guys, and they have like this dashboard. Apparently, this is the first month where they have more incoming pixel than they have outgoing. I do take that with a grain of salt, though. So, what are some of the strategies that, like with Gotchi Guardians, our plan is to rely more on vanities rather than spend this much to earn this much. It's more like, hey, if you like the game, you want to show some stuff off, buy the vanity, and that's an NFT. It's a tradable skin. You can speculate on it, whatever. So, what's the strategy kind of with Gotchi Battler going forward for this kind of monetization revenue?
Yeah, sure. So there's 2 kind of existing genres where I think already does this. The first one is just the classic kind of freemium model, right? Where, a lot of mobile games do this, where no one would pay $50 or $100 upfront to play the game. But once they've been playing it for, some weeks or months, you have a progression system that people like, participating in. And you basically just achieve your revenue through microtransactions. So, people are happy to spend, small amounts of money at a time, but they're not prepared to do that big upfront investment. And that's pretty much where Aavegotchi is right now in a lot of especially rarity farming, right? We're expecting people to come in, pay thousands of dollars for NFTs, maybe earn a bit, maybe not. But the barrier to entry is so high.
Yeah.
So we're trying to remove that. And the other genre that we're trying to kind of emulate a little bit is kind of more like the gambling side of it. So, in poker, for example, you have 90% of players kind of losing money and the top 10% are winning. So, but if you ask a poker player, if there's 9 people sat around the table and you ask them who's winning, who's losing, everyone kind of thinks they're winning or breaking even. So that kind of model does exist, that kind of competitive environment, and that's what we're trying to do. We're going to try and have regular prize pools every month. So, and that's going to be for all different levels of players. So we're going to kind of have it tiers. There's going to be obviously the top tier. That's going to be for big money, but we're going to have smaller ones as well for smaller players. And the idea is to have that, that prize pool that people are going after each month. They might win it. They might not. It's probably going to be the top X% of players are going to win money. And hopefully everyone else kind of has fun, whether they win or lose, right?
Yeah. The tiering is another thing that we've done a couple of different experiments with tiering Aavegotchis. What's the rough plan about, how do you guys plan to break them into weight classes or tiers?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you've read the post, but we're planning on having these things called battle passes, which are monthly, not subscriptions, because it's not one of those things where, it automatically takes your money. You have to choose to enroll on it every month. Mm-hmm. But there's going to be 4 tiers of that. There's going to be a free-to-play tier with a very small prize pool for people to play. Then there's going to be a basic, a premium, and a VIP tier. So, and what battle pass you buy that month is going to get you a ticket into the corresponding tournament. So it's kind of like an opt-in situation where, you've got to buy your ticket to play that monthly tournament. And there's also going to be some kind of BRS limits on each of them to make sure people are, kind of staying in their appropriate weight class. But yeah, we haven't decided the exact kind of BRS tiers, but that's roughly what it's going to look like.
It's a BRS. That'll be the team's BRS, not the individual Gotchi.
Probably both. There'll probably be a team and an individual Gotchi one as well. Just because it's easier to balance like that, right? If you when we're doing all simulations to balance it, it's hard. It's easy if you've got a group of similar kind of BRS. Yeah. But if you've got to start testing it with 1 godlike and 4 commons in against 5 rares or whatever, it gets harder. So we're probably going to do both.
We were for Great Battle Simulator, one of our leading ideas is to have BRS limits, but also in the upper tiers or in the lower tiers, I should say, you can't have a Gotchi with a legendary. I think the cutoff was 3 tiers, and legendary and below was for the basic tier. And then when you go into the middle tier, you can have a Gotchi with a mythical, and then the highest tier you can have godlikes with. There's still BRS caps as well.
That right. Kind of, you have individual. Each wearable has its own kind of move. Is that right? And was that what was in SFR? I can't remember now.
Kind of we didn't get to the add-in start special effects, but the godlikes were significantly more powerful than equivalent mythicals in most cases.
Yeah. So we don't have anything like that, but then the individual weapons don't actually make any difference. It's just the BRS and the stats basically. So that's what we're
right. Okay, yeah, that's even easier to balance.
Yeah, I mean we have looked at before adding a different special, because right now we have a special move depending on the class. There's 8 classes. We did look at if we could have like a special move for every different hand wearable, but the balancing of it was just like crazy. Because I take this like just brute force approach to the balancing, where I just run like millions and millions of simulations. So, and it's good in the way that it just gives you kind of unequivocal data. But it's bad in the way that you can't have too many different variations, or else it just, it's exponential the amount of simulations you've got to run then.
Yeah. Yeah, we got so creative with the wearables. Yeah. Once you start designing a gotchi game, you realize like there's definitely tiers to how much they're like, it's endless if you want to optimize and use every wearable in some way, like huge mess. But they look great. The wearables look great. But yeah, actually building a game can be very challenging if you like go too extreme. So I think you guys have settled on a nice happy medium.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a, it's been a bit of a journey to get there, but it is really difficult to balance, like especially with the traits being like the bell curve. It lends itself naturally to having big discrepancies between different gotchis in terms of stats. So what we've ended up doing now is the final number for the stat, half of it comes from the BRS, and then the last half of it comes from the trait, just to try and like reduce those massive differences, between a negative energy and a positive energy. Because especially for us, like plus energy is your speed, which is obviously in an auto battle is really, really important. And minus energy is your health, which again is like really important. So balancing like huge discrepancies between that was really, really hard. But I think we're getting closer now.
Cool. Anything else that people should be aware of as we're reading through the prop?
No, not really. I mean, the most recent post I made was the new game modes. Like, I won't go into that here because it's just like it's so much like information there. But go and read the forum post. It describes like the 2 new single player modes, new NFTs, and all the monetization and economy stuff. So I think it clocked in around 2,000 words or something. So it's pretty beefy. So yeah, go and read that, and then there'll be a third and final post, which is going to be all about the kind of like financials, the budget, the team, and timeframes and stuff like that. Hope that shouldn't be too long. I should get that out next week.
The campaign mode, the graphics look pretty nice. It's got like kind of Final Fantasy vibes.
Yeah. So we're gonna it's one of those things where this kind of game, it's like really, really asset heavy. So we're gonna try and have like different environments for different areas in the campaign. We're gonna loosely base it off the grid that you guys did, that map. And yeah, I think right now we're looking at about 12 different areas, and each one's going to have like a few battles and a boss fight at the end of it. But yeah, there's just a ton of assets. So we're going to work on just building like one level first, one level on the campaign and one level on the dungeon. And then once we've got that nailed, then we're literally just going to have to like duplicate it across all the different stuff. So that's just going to be kind of grind mode then.
Or like in this example with the golem, did you guys make the walls, or these like, are you able to use Unity assets? There's so many nice assets out there.
Yeah, we're using the asset store quite heavily because we just wouldn't be able to.
Yeah,
we're going to have hundreds of different like mobs and enemies, and there's going to be a bunch of different bosses. And if we were modeling, animating, rigging all those things ourselves, it would literally take years. Like we've got like two Unity devs. So yeah, we're going to use the asset store quite heavily, and yeah, like I said, focus on one level first, and then we're just going to kind of tear through all the rest of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think would be amazing to be able to play that first level. I'm sure you guys will probably do play tests and demos.
Yeah, definitely. Well, once we've got something like up and running, we might just get like a little QA server going for people to kind of see what it's like, and then we'll probably do like a test month, like with all the battle pass and stuff like that. It won't be for like real money, but maybe we'll just have, some smaller prizes for whoever does the best. And I don't know, maybe we'll just give everyone like loads of free spirits and that just for that testing phase. But yeah, we'll probably have a test month before like a full launch.
Very cool. Well, yeah, reading the post got me pretty bullish on what you guys are doing at Gotchi Battler. So, yeah, really, I'm optimistic that one of these games, Gotchi Guardians, Gotchi Battler, we're gonna crack this revenue nut and start bringing revenue back to Aavegotchi DAO. So hopefully we can get the Aavegotchi DAO's Cayman status updated so it can make money. Right now, I think it's set up as it's a non-profit, but all the auditing and stuff is not ready yet. So we got to set ourselves up for success here. If success is on the way. We're close. Just gotta get some things in order, get some bookkeeping done.
Yeah, cool. That's the dream. Start putting the revenue in.
Well, speaking of the DAO, did you guys want to start a little bit early? Like I said, I have to bounce in 30. So happy to stay on for more Hangout. Or if you guys want to start DAO call early, that also works, up to the facilitators.
I don't think the facilitators actually said or made like a clear decision. But FaZe, if you're here and you want to jump up, I can stop the recording and start the. Oh, there comes FaZe. All right, so let me. He'll come up. Let me stop the recording and start it again so that we have a clear delineation.